Perfect. Perfect.
All right, everybody, what's going on, man? How y'all doing? Welcome to today's edition of SWAC Talk. Of course, this is the show we cover the SWAC inside and out, and I'm your tour guide around the SWAC. See what else coming at you. And today we're gonna recap the Orange Blossom Classic and do my HBCU Top 10. So y'all make sure y'all keep it locked in, and also y'all hit my socials for my weekly schedule for shows. Instagram is SWAC Talk, Twitter SWAC Talk 76, Facebook SWAC Talk. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share them, and hit that notification bell to be alerted to any content that I upload. Also, if you would like, you can hit that join button to become a member of the channel. And we got a few things we're gonna start doing in the next few days. So you want to go ahead and hit that. It'll be much appreciated. So we're gonna jump directly into this because we're gonna get in and get out on this one. We're gonna start off with the Orange Blossom Classic. Florida A&M picked up a 28-10 victory over Jackson State. This was a tale of one quarter, really. FAMU really jumped out on Jackson State in the first quarter, and from then on, it kind of was a, kind of like a JSU trying to fight back, and FAMU just trying to keep the pace. FAMU opened up the scoring when Marcus Riley returned the opening kick, 96 yards for a touchdown. The extra point was good, 7-0. With 8:55 left in the first quarter, Trevonte Davis caught an 18-yard pass from Jeremy Musa. Extra point good, 8 plays, 58 yards, 3:15 time of possession. That was made the score 14-0. With 5:34 left in the first quarter, Jamare Shareed had a 5-yard pass from Musa. Extra point good, 5 plays, 15 yards, 1:12 off the clock, 21-0. With 5:55 left in the first half, Jaquez Yant 3-yard run, extra point good, 4 plays, 38 yards, 1:33 off the clock, 28-0, and that will be our halftime score. With 1:10 left in the third quarter, Gerardo Beza kicked a 24-yard field goal for Jackson State. 17 plays, 71 yards, 8:07 off the clock, 28-3. And then with 13:51 left in the game, Rico Powers got a 66-yard pass from Zy McDonald. Extra point was good, 3 plays, 76 yards, 1 minute even off the clock, 28-10, and that would be our final margin. Jackson State would finish with 17 first downs, FAMU with 18. Jackson State 72 yards rushing on 32 attempts, 2.3 yards per carry. No touchdowns. FAMU 207 on the ground, 40 carries, 5.2 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. Jackson State 231 through the air, 20-34, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. FAMU 150 yards through the air, 12-22, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Total offense 303 yards for Jackson State on 66 plays, 4.6 yards per play. They fumbled 3 times and lost 2. They had 4 penalties for 30 yards. FAMU 357, total offense 62 plays, 5.8 yards per play, no fumbles at all, 6 penalties for 50 yards. Jackson State averaged 49.2 yards per punt, FAMU 43 even. Time of possession, FAMU 30 minutes and 59 seconds, Jackson State 29:01. Jackson State 2 of 14 on third down, 3 of 4 on fourth down, 1 of 3 in the red zone. They had 1 sack, and they were 1 for 1 on extra points and 1 for 1 on field goals. FAMU 6 of 13 on third down, 0 for 1 on fourth down, 3 of 5 in the red zone, 4 sacks, 4 of 4 on extra points, and 0 for 2 on field goals. Individually, Zy McDonald was 10 of 14 for Jackson State for 149 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, was sacked twice. Jason Brown 10 of 19 for 82 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. He was sacked twice. Fabian McCray, 0 for 1 for Jackson State. Jeremy Musa, 12 of 22 for 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was sacked once. Irv Mulligan led Jackson State with 77 yards on 16 carries, 4.8 yards per carry. Zai McDonald, 8 carries for 30 yards, 3.8 yards per carry. Ezekiel Johnson, 2 carries for 11 yards, giving him a 5.5 yard average. Terrell Jennings led FAMU with 11 carries for 75 yards, 6.8 yards per carry. Yaquez Yant, 11 carries for 72 yards, 1 touchdown, 6.5 yards per carry. Kelvin Dean, 9 carries, 37 yards, and 4.1 yards per carry. Rico Powers led Jackson State with 4 catches for 119 yards, 1 touchdown. Andre Hunt, 3 for 29. Isaiah Spencer, 4 for 25. Jamari Shareed led FAMU with 5 catches for 90 yards and a touchdown. Kamari Young, 1 for 19. Trevontae Davis, 1 for 18 and a touchdown. Nicholas Dixon, 1 for 13. Marcus Riley, 1 for 8. Isaac Peppers led Jackson State with 9 tackles. Antonio Doyle with 6. Tim Stewart with 5 tackles for loss. Doyle, Webb, Peppers, Guthrie each had 1 tackle for loss apiece. The sack went to Doyle. Florida A&M was led by Isaiah Major with 6 tackles. Javon Morgan, Eric Smith, Jordan Moore, Alan Smith, and Anthony Dunn and Gentle Hunt each had 4 tackles apiece. Dunn led the team with 2 tackles for loss. He also led the team with 2 sacks. Smith had a fumble, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. Dakar Edwards also had a fumble recovery. And one big thing that took place in this game for FAMU was definitely the special teams. Like I said, they had a kickoff return for a touchdown, and Jamari Shareed had a couple really great punt returns. Finished the night with 95 yards on punt returns, including a long of 50. And Marcus Riley finished with 120 yards with his 1 touchdown. So they really won this game early with special teams, whether it was a snap over the holder's head on Jackson State part, the opening kickoff return, great punt returns. You know, they did everything. FAMU did everything that you want a team to do in the first quarter. And then, you know, they kind of fell off a bit. They were able to keep Jackson State from really getting on the board enough to really make this a scary game for them, because they kind of, I don't know if they let their foot off the gas or if Jackson State defense just really locked in, which I think it was a combination. I think JSU really started to play with a little bit more spirit and get themselves, trying to fight their way back in this game. But FAMU had a lot of opportunities that they left. Musa missed a lot of guys on his throws. They had a couple big drops. They had field goals blocked. So they had opportunities to add to the lead, but they couldn't. Jackson State made some big plays on defense to keep them where they were. So this, where both teams go from here at this point, that's going to be very interesting. This is, JSU's bout with adversity. So we're going to see how they bounce back from that. FAMU got the monkey off their back. Can they continue to play winning football? And can they be the pace setters that Jackson State was for 2 years? Because that's not an easy task either, to play ahead of everybody and holding off the Wolves. So we still got a lot of football to play. We still got a lot of interesting storylines to take place. This doesn't by no means seal any deal. FAMU is a great team, and if they play every game like they played their first quarter, then they are going to be a team that's tough to beat by any team on their schedule. That includes USF. So if they play like that, they're going to be tough to beat. If they play like they did in the middle portions of the game, they're still going to be hard to beat by some teams, but some teams with, a little bit better talent level will be able to stay in the game, maybe even beat them. So right now they are the pace setters, but I wouldn't count Jackson State out. I think they're gonna get together and regroup, and they see what they can't do now, and now they know that they have to be complete all game long because they're taking everybody's best shot from this point on. So pretty interesting game. Was a bit surprised at the beginning, but it was a pretty interesting game. And now we move on to week 2. But before we start our week 2, we're gonna finish up week 1 with our players of the week in the SWAC. We'll go ahead and do that first, and then we'll move on to our HBCU Top 10, and then we're gonna wrap this one up. Trezon Connolly, quarterback, won the offensive player of the week. He passed with 275 yards on 20 of 35 passing with 2 touchdowns, and he ran for 35 yards. The Prairie View's victory, 37-34 victory over Texas Southern during the Labor Day Classic. Defensive player of the week, Bubba Adams, Colton Bubba Adams, notched 12 tackles, including 4 solo tackles and 1 sack in the Hornets' 14-10 Labor Day Classic win over Southern. He notched double-digit tackles for the 3rd straight game, dating back to the final 2 games of last season, and for the 6th time in 7 games. Specialist and newcomer of the week are the same guy, Marcus Riley from FAMU. He started the game for the Rattlers by returning the opening kickoff 96 yards for a touchdown, and he finished the game with 120 return yards on 2 kickoff returns and a touchdown. So big day for him, transferring from Bethune-Cookman to FAMU. First game becomes newcomer of the week and specialist of the week. And Trezon Connolly, big game leading Prairie View from a 17-point deficit to defeat Texas Southern. And Bubba Adams, huge game as usual. No surprise to see him put up those kind of tackle numbers as their defense played an outstanding game, beating Southern on Saturday. To my top 10, lot of shakeups here. And I feel like this poll is going to shake up every week. But the number 1 team is still North Carolina Central. I don't think they did much to drop from that spot. FAMU is number 2. They also, both teams are 1-0. My number 3 team jumped from my number 10 spot, and that's Morgan State. They picked up a nice victory against Richmond to open up the season. A lot of people saying Richmond might be mid, but that's still a nice out-of-conference win on the road. So you got to reward a team for that. Bama State, with their victory over Southern, they jump into the 4th spot. Prairie View, with their victory over Texas Southern, they jump into the 5th spot. Hampton beating Grambling in a pretty solid game. I think they had more control over that game than the score indicates. But they are my number 6 team. Jackson State, I dropped them to number 7. They're 1-1. They kind of make the divide between the 1-0 teams and the 0-1 teams. Howard had a really strong second through 4th quarters against Eastern Michigan. Had an opportunity to get the win there, but they came up short. They're my number 8 team. And number 9 is Texas Southern. They had that game against Prairie View locked up, but Prairie View was able to make a run and get back in it and ultimately win it in overtime. A couple key drops hurt Texas Southern in that game. Some turnovers kind of hurt them a little bit. But they still look sharp. They still got a really solid offense. The defense made the plays when they needed to, but then they kind of wore down at the end. So they are my number 9 team, and my number 10 team. Really, I put Southern there just because I feel like their defense was very good. They played probably one of the better defensive efforts of any team on this list all week 1. The offense showed some potential early, but fizzled out in the middle, and ultimately did nothing at the end. But I thought the defensive effort was enough to keep them in a game that they probably should have lost by double digits, if you're being honest. So they're my number 10 team, but you can, there's multiple teams you can put there who lost to FBS teams, although there weren't very many close FBS games. So, that number 10 spot is a free fall right now. So, of course, there's probably going to be a lot of movement after this upcoming week. So, this is my top 10 right now. So, we'll see how next week's top 10 fares. And that's going to do it for this show, man. I'm going to get out of here, and we'll have our week 2 preview dropping on Wednesday. Thursday is SWAC Smoke, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. Don't think I'm gonna do a Saturday show. If I do, it's gonna probably be earlier in the day, but I'm not 100% sure yet. So check the socials for that. And of course, we have our recap of all the week 2 action dropping on Sunday. So that we got a full slate as usual, and y'all keep it locked in with us, and we'll continue to bring y'all all the great SWAC action. So with that being said, I'm your tour guide C. Wells signing out, and we will catch y'all on the rebound. Peace.